Have you ever eaten breakfast thinking you were doing something good for your body, only to discover later that those very foods might be silently pushing your kidneys closer to danger? Most people never suspect it yet. Every single morning across America, millions of adults over 50 wake up and unknowingly make the same mistake, one that slowly increases their creatinine strains, their kidneys, and sets them on a path they never saw coming. And the frightening part is this: the symptoms are quiet, the damage is slow, and by the time most people realize what's happening, their kidneys have already been under attack for years without a single warning. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and after spending more than 2 decades studying kidney decline in seniors, I can tell you this with absolute certainty: your breakfast, yes, the very first meal you take each day, has more power over your kidneys than almost anything else you eat. It can either give your kidneys the rest they desperately need after working all night, or it can force them into another exhausting battle before you've even finished your coffee. And here's the part that keeps me up at night. As a physician, the foods most Americans believe are healthy are often the ones quietly doing the most damage. But stay with me, because there is good news. Today I'm going to show you 3 specific breakfasts, simple, affordable, science-backed meals that can actually lower the burden on your kidneys, reduce waste buildup, and help stabilize your creatinine naturally. These aren't trendy diets, exotic ingredients, or complicated routines. They are practical morning choices that my own patients have used to improve their kidney numbers, boost their energy, and reclaim control over their health. And the difference they make is so profound that once you understand why they work, you'll never look at breakfast the same way again. So as we take the first step into this journey, I want you to keep one thing in mind. The problem is not your age, your medications, or your genetics, nearly as much as it is the invisible habits woven into your mornings. And once you see how easily those habits can be fixed, you'll realize your kidneys have been waiting for this moment of relief for a very long time. Because breakfast is not just breakfast, it's the trigger that determines how your kidneys function for the next 24 hours. And today you're about to learn how to finally turn that trigger in your favor. So let's begin with the first breakfast that has completely changed the morning routines of many of my patients. And before I explain why it works, I want you to imagine something with me for just a moment. Picture your kidneys waking up after a long night of filtering toxins, like 2 exhausted workers finishing a night shift. The very first thing you eat will either overwhelm them or give them a lifeline. And steel-cut oats with berries, as simple as it sounds, is one of the strongest lifelines you can offer. I remember a patient named Linda, a 62-year-old retired teacher who came to me with creatinine creeping dangerously close to 2.1. She told me, "Dr. Ellis, I eat healthy every morning, granola cereal, sometimes even yogurt. I don't understand why my numbers keep rising." But when I look closer, every healthy breakfast she described was packed with hidden sugars, preservatives, and fast-digesting grains that sent her blood sugar spiking and forced her kidneys into emergency mode before 9 a.m. So I asked her to try just one thing for 30 days: switch her breakfast to a warm bowl of steel-cut oats topped with blueberries. She didn't believe something so simple could help until her next labs revealed her creatinine had dropped noticeably and her energy had returned in a way she hadn't felt in years. And here's the science behind why this works so powerfully. Steel-cut oats are loaded with beta-glucan, a special soluble fiber that behaves almost like a gentle sponge inside your gut. As it moves through your digestive system, it forms a thick gel that binds to urea, creatinine, and other metabolic waste products, pulling them into your stool before they ever reach your kidneys. Think of it as a bypass lane for toxins, one that finally lets your kidneys take a breath after working nonstop all night. And the impact isn't small. A study from Purdue University found that adults who consume just 25 grams of soluble fiber a day improved their elimination of uremic toxins by nearly 20%, a number that can make the difference between declining kidney function and stabilizing it. The berries on top do something equally impressive. Their deep purples and reds come from anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that travel directly into kidney tissue and protect it from inflammation and oxidative damage. These compounds act like tiny shields inside your nephrons, stopping the daily assaults from free radicals that silently age your kidneys faster than most people realize. And here's the part that still surprises many of my patients: when you eat this breakfast within 1 hour of waking your gut. Bacteria are at their most active state, ready to ferment the fiber and turn it into short-chain fatty acids compounds that lower inflammation, strengthen your gut barrier, and even signal your kidneys to filter more efficiently. In other words, timing this breakfast correctly can multiply its benefits dramatically. Now let me ask you something directly. Have you ever eaten breakfast quickly, distracted, or on autopilot without realizing how much pressure you were putting on your kidneys? If that sounds familiar, just say yes in the comments, so I know I'm not alone in this. Because once you understand what this simple bowl of oats is doing inside your body, it becomes impossible to go back to the sugary cereals and processed grains that push your kidneys closer to trouble every single morning. And as powerful as this breakfast is, there's something even more important. You need to know fiber alone is not enough if your protein choices are silently harming your kidneys later in the day. That's why the next breakfast on this list shocked even some of my colleagues. It's something most Americans think they're eating correctly, but one tiny mistake turns it from kidney-friendly to kidney-damaging before they even realize it. But knowing this first breakfast isn't enough, because the real danger and the real opportunity lies in what comes next. And if the first breakfast was all about giving your kidneys relief through fiber, the second one is about giving them protection through clean, precise protein. That's why egg whites with bright red or yellow bell peppers became a game-changing discovery for so many of my patients. At first glance, it looks almost too simple, just eggs and peppers. But simplicity is often where the most powerful kidney-supporting choices hide. Take Robert, a 68-year-old former construction worker who came to me frustrated because he was eating healthy, yet his phosphorus levels kept climbing. Every morning he ate whole eggs cooked in butter, believing protein was good for him, and he wasn't wrong. But the hidden phosphorus in the yolks was slowly stressing his kidneys like tiny weights added every single day. When I switched him to egg whites only paired with sautéed red peppers, the improvement was almost immediate. His lab results began stabilizing, his swelling decreased, and for the first time in years, he felt like his body wasn't working against him. And here's why this breakfast works so well. Egg whites deliver pure, complete protein without the phosphorus that damaged kidneys struggle to remove. A single egg white contains only about 5 millimoles of phosphorus compared to over 60 millimoles in the yolk. For anyone with declining kidney function, the difference isn't small. It's the difference between easing the filtration burden or silently increasing it. And when you combine those egg whites with red or yellow bell peppers, you unlock an entirely new layer of kidney support. That's because ripe peppers contain 3 times more vitamin C and carotenoids than green peppers, compounds proven to strengthen collagen in kidney filters and reduce oxidative stress at the microscopic level. The science backs this up clearly. A clinical trial from the University of Michigan showed that patients who replaced whole eggs with egg whites experienced a meaningful drop in phosphorus retention over an 18-month period. For my patients, that's often the turning point. They finally understand that it's not just what you eat, but what your kidneys can handle. Now, let me ask you directly, have you ever thought you were eating something healthy, only to find out later it was quietly working against your kidneys? If that hits home, just type yes in the comments so we can learn from each other's journeys. Because even though this breakfast can dramatically reduce kidney stress, knowing this alone isn't enough, since the next morning habit might be even more dangerous and even more misunderstood than this one. And if clean protein gives your kidneys the strength they need to function without strain, then this third breakfast gives them something even deeper protection at the cellular level, the kind that shields kidney tissue from inflammation all day long. That's why the blueberry chia smoothie made with unsweetened almond milk is the morning routine I recommend to almost every patient who comes to me with persistent kidney inflammation or stubborn creatinine levels that refuse to drop. One of those patients was Marilyn, a 71-year-old grandmother, who told me she woke up every morning feeling puffy and exhausted even after a full night's sleep. Her creatinine wasn't extremely high, but her inflammation markers were off the charts. She had tried cutting salt, drinking more water, even changing medications, but nothing truly shifted until we rebuilt her morning routine from the ground up. When she replaced her dairy-heavy breakfast with this smoothie, she called me 2 weeks later, genuinely shocked. Dr. Ellis, I didn't know my body could feel this light, and her labs confirmed it. Lower inflammation, better filtration, a calmer, more stable kidney environment. Here's the science behind why this smoothie works so powerfully. Almond milk contains a fraction of the phosphorus and potassium found in cow's milk, often over 95% less, which prevents your kidneys from being overloaded right at the start of the day. Meanwhile, blueberries deliver one of the most concentrated sources of anthocyanins, antioxidant molecules shown in Harvard studies, to reduce kidney tissue inflammation and support the microvessels that transport blood through your nephrons. But the real magic comes from the chia seeds, and not in the way most people think. When you grind half of them, you release their omega-3 fatty acids, instantly allowing your body to absorb them efficiently and reduce systemic inflammation within hours. And when you leave the other half whole, they travel deeper into your digestive tract, where they form a gel that traps waste products, slows digestion, and feeds beneficial gut bacteria that directly influence kidney health through molecules called short-chain fatty acids. Let me ask you, have you ever eaten something that was supposed to be healthy, only to feel bloated, tired, or sluggish afterward? That's your body telling you the food wasn't working with your kidneys, but against them. And while this smoothie can dramatically lighten your kidney workload, just knowing this still isn't enough, because the most overlooked factor affecting your creatinine doesn't come from breakfast at all. And it's the part we're about to uncover next. And if the blueberry chia smoothie gave your kidneys anti-inflammatory protection, then this next breakfast goes even deeper, straight into your gut, where kidney damage truly begins. Because what most people don't realize is that your gut and your kidneys are in constant conversation. When your gut is inflamed, unbalanced, or overloaded with harmful bacteria, your kidneys pay the price. So the fourth breakfast I give my patients is a bowl of low-phosphorus Greek yogurt, topped with a drizzle of honey and a pinch of cinnamon, a combination that rebuilds gut health while quietly lowering the workload on your kidneys. One of my patients, Thomas, a 74-year-old Navy veteran, struggled for months with unpredictable creatinine spikes. No matter what he changed medications, hydration, salt intake, his numbers kept swinging. But when I looked at his habits more closely, the problem wasn't his kidneys at all. It was his gut. He was eating processed pastries every morning, destroying beneficial bacteria and causing inflammation that echoed straight into his kidneys. When he replaced that breakfast with this yogurt blend, the change was almost unbelievable. His digestion stabilized, his bloating vanished, and within a few weeks, his creatinine readings were steadier than they had been in 2 years. The science behind this is powerful. Greek yogurt, when chosen in its low-phosphorus formulation, contains probiotics that help reduce the production of uremic toxins inside the gut. These toxins are responsible for up to 40% of the inflammatory load that eventually reaches the kidneys. And cinnamon isn't just a flavor. It has been shown in NIH-supported studies to improve insulin sensitivity, reducing blood sugar spikes that stress kidney filtration. Meanwhile, honey acts as a natural prebiotic, feeding the healthy gut bacteria responsible for breaking down waste before your kidneys ever need to filter it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt heavy, bloated, or sluggish after breakfast? That's not age. That's your gut struggling and your kidneys feeling the consequences. And when your morning starts with a food that restores balance instead of stealing it, everything from your energy to your filtration rate can begin to improve. But knowing this still isn't enough, because the next breakfast option is one that almost everyone gets wrong, and one tiny mistake can quietly overload your kidneys for the rest of the day. And if restoring your gut is the key to stabilizing inflammation, then supporting your morning blood flow is the next crucial step. And this is why breakfast number 5 surprises so many people. Because unlike the heavy whole wheat breads that can overload your kidneys with phosphorus and digestive strain, sourdough toast works differently. It's fermented, easier to digest, and far gentler on your kidneys, especially when paired with a micro portion of avocado and a sprinkle of red pepper flakes. It's not just tasty, it's strategic. One of my patients, Karen, a 66-year-old accountant, told me she ate whole wheat toast every morning, believing it was the heart-healthy option. But what she didn't know was that whole wheat flour contains significantly higher levels of phosphorus and phytic acid, which can increase kidney workload and block mineral absorption. She complained of constant morning fatigue and swelling in her feet. When I switched her to sourdough toast with just a thin layer of mashed avocado, her energy improved within days and her swelling gradually eased. The difference wasn't the calories, it was the fermentation. Here's what the research tells us. Fermented grains and sourdough reduce the release of phosphorus by up to 30%, making it significantly easier for the kidneys to handle. The fermentation process also breaks down gluten, lowers acidity, and feeds beneficial gut bacteria, all factors linked to improved kidney resilience. Meanwhile, avocado, when used in a controlled microdose of just 1 to 2 tablespoons, provides heart-healthy monounsaturated fats that improve microcirculation, helping blood move more efficiently through your kidney filters. And the red pepper flakes. They stimulate nitric oxide release, supporting blood flow and reducing morning stiffness. Many seniors feel upon waking. Let me ask you directly, have you ever felt sluggish or swollen after eating bread in the morning? Most people blame age, but more often it's the wrong type of bread, creating small inflammatory shocks that your kidneys quietly struggle to manage. With sourdough, you're not just eating differently, you're reducing the metabolic burden that builds up day after day. But knowing this still isn't enough, because the final breakfast on this list, though, incredibly simple, may be the most important one of all, and it addresses a hidden morning habit that almost no one talks about. And if sourdough helps reduce the metabolic burden on your kidneys, this next breakfast goes one step further by giving your kidneys something they almost never get in the morning: a gentle, natural detox that clears overnight waste before it can build up. That's why this sixth breakfast, warm lemon-parsley water paired with soft-boiled egg whites and crisp apple slices, has become one of the quiet secrets many of my patients now swear by. It doesn't just nourish the kidneys, it resets them. I'll never forget Helen, a 70-year-old former nurse who always woke up with swelling in her hands and ankles. She believed it was simply part of getting older. But when I reviewed her routine, I noticed she drank coffee before drinking any water. Her body was dehydrated before the day even started, and her kidneys were scrambling to compensate. When we switched her morning drink to warm lemon-parsley water, the difference was dramatic. Within a week, her swelling reduced, her morning stiffness improved, and she told me she felt lighter than she had in 15 years. Here's the science behind it. Warm water kickstarts gentle hydration, helping the kidneys flush out the waste that accumulated overnight. Lemon contains citrate, which studies show can prevent mineral deposits and support cleaner filtration pathways. Parsley acts as a natural diuretic, encouraging mild fluid release without stressing the kidneys. Meanwhile, soft-boiled egg whites provide pure protein without phosphorus spikes, and the apple slices bring in pectin, a soluble fiber that binds to toxins in the gut, removing them before they ever enter the bloodstream. Putting these together creates a morning environment where the kidneys don't just wake up, they recover. And this routine is especially powerful for those who experience puffiness, morning fatigue, or difficulty urinating first thing in the morning. Let me ask you, have you ever felt heavy when you wake up, as if your body didn't fully reset overnight? That's your kidneys signaling that they need a gentler start to the day. And while this detox-focused breakfast can transform your mornings, knowing this still isn't enough, because the foods you choose for the rest of the day, especially your protein sources, can either amplify these benefits or silently undo all the progress you make in the morning. And that's exactly what we're about to dive into next. Before you start your day, I want you to remember something important. Your kidneys are not failing you. Most of the time, they're simply asking for the right kind of support. And the fact that you're here learning, listening, and taking steps to protect your health already puts you far ahead of the millions of people who continue struggling without ever understanding why. So please be patient with yourself, be consistent, and be proud of every small change you make. Your body feels it even when you don't see the results right away. And if today's video helped you understand your kidneys in a clearer, more hopeful way, then do one thing for yourself: save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need guidance. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell, because each week I share new kidney health strategies backed by science, practical, simple, and designed to help you stay strong, stay independent, and stay in control of your health. No matter where you are in your journey, whether your creatinine has just begun to rise or you've been fighting this battle for years, I want you to know that there is always a path forward. Your kidneys can be supported, your numbers can improve, and your future can look very different from your past when you take the right steps one morning at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and I'll see you in the next video with more answers, more clarity, and more hope for your kidneys and your life ahead.